I'll give you all of my research to make a lot of money. I respect your time, so let's jump straight into it. The first stock I'm going to cover is going to be SoFi. Now, my portfolio has scaled really well. I'm at 4.2. And right now, what I want to show you is SoFi and why I think this is a really interesting stock, because this stock just fell below $15 per share. This is a very key and important level. Look, volatility is actually a very good thing. And now that SoFi has pulled back, I'm going to recommend that you guys sell the $14 put option for March expiration, the third Friday traditional expiration. Just look at the new member additions chart. This is absolutely insane, and this is exactly what compound growth looks like. The sales for SoFi are accelerating at a very fast pace, and the sales growth accelerated in the third quarter to 30% year over year, and the non-lending segments are contributing more and more to the growth. This is extremely important, and right now what I see is happening for SoFi is that it has fallen below a key level where I think it's absolutely too cheap for you not to invest in. This week, I'm going to be personally dollar cost averaging and adding more money into SoFi. Look, I would say that right now, if you have 10% of your money in SoFi, cool, just hold it. But if you don't have that much money in SoFi, you need to buy more, because this is a very key support level where I see SoFi is going to make many millionaires in 2025 and beyond. That's why I think a good entry point is going to be the 14 strike price. You can sell 14 strike price for March expiration. As SoFi grows, and I'm looking at my research, as they put more money and they advance their platform, that's only going to mean more member signups, and that's going to mean more engagement for their product, and the company is going to scale and continue to scale. We've already seen massive profitability, right? It reported positive net income 4 quarters in a row is absolutely no joke, and the scalability is only increasing and it's improving. This fintech company is transforming the market, and it's very disruptive. I'm telling you from experience. I worked at Goldman Sachs. The archaic models that they have, the archaic business that they have, if you go into the office, everything is super old. This is going to be transformed and going to be disrupted by SoFi because they have lower expenses. They don't have the traditional model. It's really easy for this company to go from a $16 billion market cap. Okay, it's even cheaper. It was $17 billion not that long ago. Now it's at $16 billion. It can double to $32 billion. And I see this company being a $50 billion company in the next few years, all right? Looking at my research, what I've noticed right now is that I'm investing in SoFi for the reason of innovation and disruption. It is a mid-sized bank that's all digital, and it's a tech-first company, okay? This is a bank that is tech-first. So this is still along the lines of AI, and it's still along the lines of mega cap tech, okay? This is a mid-cap size company, but it is not that far from, in the future becoming a large cap, and then maybe a mega cap, okay? A mega cap would be out of reach for the next 10 years, but it doesn't have to reach mega cap for you to make a boatload of money. It's as simple as that. Banks are dinosaurs, making SoFi an obvious play for disruption. SoFi stock doesn't offer the same protection and reliability as many established banks, but then again, established banks give you almost no return, okay? They give you good returns, but compared to SoFi, it's nothing. Guys, it's nothing. SoFi, in the next 1 year, I think is going to be a $20 price target. For me, I think $20 is very reasonable in 1 year, $30 in 2 years, and $50+ in 3 to 5 years. By combining technology, payments, and banking businesses into one agile model, SoFi is challenging the standard banking structure. And this is the main reason why I'm investing in it. I think this week you're going to see some strength in SoFi as more investors are, going to come back to the market. I'm going to cover SPY and the market in just a second. But I think more investors, we've seen a lot of sell-off in late December. We didn't really get the Santa Claus rally that everyone was like preaching for and boasting for on YouTube. But then again, I've said myself that I wasn't expecting for a crazy rally in the last week. Last week is typically everyone is on vacation. So look, SoFi is set to benefit from falling interest rates in 2025. It has favorable regulatory environment. There's tax reforms. Everything that I see right now for SoFi is a tailwind, okay? There's wind blowing to SoFi, and SoFi is going to rise. And I'm very, very confident of that, and that's why I'm going to invest more of my money into SoFi. I've cleared up some cash. I'm going to be investing in this, and I'll be talking more about SoFi in my January 9th webinar that you can find in the first link in the description. Let's keep it moving, and let's go over the market in general and what I see happening. So purchasing SPY, I'm personally investing in the market as a whole. I'm buying the dip. And I think the market is in a very strong place right now. And I want to help you digest this and understand this by watching this 75-second quick clip.
And I think there was general profit taking and some sort of let's wait and see how 2025 is, given we just booked two 20% back-to-back years.
And do you think that those things will remain overhangs? I mean, obviously, you certainly have a bullish orientation. You feel as if the S&P 500 can get to 7,000 by mid-year before perhaps a pullback. Well, if we're getting from here to 7,000 in less than 6 months, you're talking about, 35% annualized pace of gain. So how do we get there?
Well, I think one thing the viewers need to keep in mind is that just because the calendar year changed doesn't mean that the strength that we saw throughout 2024 suddenly has evaporated. There are tailwinds building because the Fed is dovish, even if they're making fewer cuts. But I think one of the sort of two important things happening early in 2025 is going to be, one, we're seeing manufacturing recover. The ISM manufacturing, posted one of the highest readings in almost 2.5 years. I mean, it's been below 50 basically for nearly 3 years. And the second is that I think the labor market could be softening in a way, because whether you look at link-up data or the ISM employment, to tell us that the Fed now has to be focused back on supporting the economy. So I think this month could be quite decisive in the sense that we've got weakness because of some insecurities building, but I think it's, the same tailwinds are in place. I mean, I think it's still a buy the dip kind of market.
Now listen guys, let's talk about what Tom Lee just said right there. He's basically saying that there was a lot of general profit taking in the market, and that's pretty straightforward. I told you guys, end of year is a time to sell stocks that you're at a loss at, or just generally take profit. That always happens every single year without fail. That's pretty obvious. I told my Discord members last week that December, there's no point to trade or buy anything until we see what's up in January. And that's exactly what Tom Lee said. He basically said that investors want to see what's going on in January because that gives you clear direction for the rest of 2025. It's kind of funny. It's kind of like almost funny how psychological this game is. But in the first week of trading, well, we are starting this year off on a Wednesday, but in the first 7 to 10 days, we really get a clear direction of if the market is bullish. I personally think we're going to be very bullish, and you can see that because the Fed is still dovish. They're still dovish. You look at manufacturing recovering. That's what Tom Lee said as well. He said manufacturing is in a strong place, and January is going to be a very decisive month for us. So you better pay attention right now because there's a lot of money to be made. I always say you can buy things hand over fist, bicep over tricep. I say that to pump you up, but I'm being serious. There's so much money to be made in this market, and January is going to be a very decisive month for us, and there's a lot of tailwinds in the market. So I'm going to be buying the dip in general on a lot of different stocks, and I'm going to show you how to buy the dip more on January 9th in the webinar. That's going to take 2 hours, by the way, so that's interest to you. It's going to be a whole 2 hours. It's going to be a lot of work, but there is a way to dollar cost average, and there is a way to properly buy the dip. All right, let's keep it pushing. Let's go to my next stock, which is Palantir. At $75 per share, that's what I said when Palantir was at 75. I said we're going to be pushing $80 per share in the short term, and I was exactly right about that. Essentially in my portfolio, let me pull up Palantir right now. I'll show you the position that I have and the moves that I want to make, okay? Over the past 1 month, Palantir is up 15%, okay? In mid-December, where it was around like $75 per share, I made an urgent video telling you guys that this is going to be a clear play to make money, but not that much because Palantir is reaching somewhere around its peak. It doesn't mean that Palantir is going to fall. I just think we're in the later innings of Palantir itself. Other stocks I'm going to cover in this video, I think there's still a lot more room to run. For Palantir, I'm getting a little bit less excited, and I said at 75, we're going to see a move up to 80, but maybe by 2025, I only see Palantir going up to about $100 per share, unless I see something changing, okay? Just fundamentally, I think this is a very strong company, but I think we've already squeezed a lot of juice from the lemon. So you'll see here that I do have Palantir at $21.71 as my average cost. I have 5,000 shares here. I'm up almost 300K. And the options themselves, I have a couple covered calls, sell puts. Listen, this is a very simple play. Just sell 75 put options on Palantir and look for a good entry at $75 per share because I think 75 is very reasonable. And I think the stock's going to be about $85 in the next 1 to 3 months, and we're going to get some steady growth. But I don't see Palantir skyrocketing to 100 in the short term unless we get Alex Karp to come out with some good news. Obviously, I'm going to keep you guys updated if you're subscribed to this channel. But right now, it's business as usual. Okay, that's what I've been saying in my Discord. We're business as usual. Okay, we see a lot of stocks going up. We see some stocks going down. I think we're going to see a 25% rise in the stock market, specifically in the tech sector. We're going to see some underperformance potentially in energy. I think in industrials and some other sectors, we're going to see a little bit of weakness. But on the tech sector, I'm very clear that we're going to see 25% growth. And that's because AI is the fastest accelerating sector, and AI is going to lead the pack. And I think, we'll cover Nvidia and AMD in just a moment. Let me wrap up with Palantir. Sell puts, You can also do covered calls at a 40 delta. Be aggressive with that premium because I don't see that much upside. And I'm still on board with Palantir. I'm not changing my mind, guys. I'm not jumping ship. I'm still holding my shares. I'm still looking up to analysts like Dan Ives who describe Palantir as the Messi of AI. Okay, and I acknowledge that this is a potential candidate to dominate defense sector. And to be completely honest with you, my position in Palantir is actually probably going to increase, although I'm not super bullish on it in the short term. In the long term, guys, let me tell you something sad but true, okay? The government, they love to scam, okay? In my opinion, we're going to see a lot of United States debt go up, okay? With Republicans in the office, we're going to see Democrats as well. Again, I've told you guys, Democrats, Republicans on the same side. They kind of scamming for our attention, for the money. Everything's about money. And unfortunately, the government, you guys see what happened there with Ozempic? I was watching Joe Rogan Experience podcast 2210. Kaylee Means and Casey Means, they discuss how the taxpayer is going to pay $1,600 per person that takes Ozempic. And they're pushing this drug on like 6-year-olds right now. And it's crazy. Go ahead and look that, okay? You can look at the Joe Rogan Experience. I already mentioned which one. But guys, it's pretty clear. The government's scamming and they put the profit over the people, okay? It's all about money nowadays, okay? It's been about money for a while now. But doctors, they're calling out the government. You can see the Stanford doctors are calling out the government. And the fact is, the government is the most lucrative business. Why am I bringing this up? Well, that's because Palantir makes 50%. 50, okay? Why did I put 10, 100%? 50% of their money comes from the government. Are you trying to get rich? Do you want to make money? Because this is a millionaire maker and they're gonna make millions and millions of dollars and $1 trillion over the next 10 years and so on. So as a long-term play, Palantir is going to generate so much money from the government, and this is actually your only way to hedge against inflation. I hate to say this, guys. I'm pissed off in so many ways because I pay so much money in taxes and it goes to war and it goes to a bunch of BS, okay? It goes to a bunch of nonsense, okay? The collapsing America. And the only way to fight against inflation, government debt, and profit off of war, which I hate. I hate to see the Ukraine and Russian war. I hate to see the Middle East war. I hate this stuff, okay? Well, I would personally wish that things were way different. But nonetheless, Palantir is making money hand over fist on these topics, and these topics are unfortunately big issues in our world, and they're not going to go nowhere, okay? So if you want to make a lot of money, you want to invest in Palantir. And Palantir, there's good entry at 75, and I've been in Palantir since 21. Or fortunately, unfortunately, I'm going to be investing more in Palantir. The CEO went to my high school. I have a lot of belief in Alex Karp, and that's it. I'm going to go to my next stock. You guys already know how I feel about Palantir. It's a good money maker. It's going to make you rich. Now, the next stock I want to cover, and I want to make this video as fast as possible, is Tesla. I sold 400 sell puts. I think that's a fantastic entry into Tesla. I made a Tesla video on January 1st. I started this year off with Tesla. I think you guys should watch that video. It was just made a few days ago. Go ahead and watch my last video on Tesla. That's because I think I made a very clear video on why I'm selling $400 puts and what I see happening for Tesla in 2025, which, to give you that fast summary as well so you don't have to waste any time on that video, it's basically I see Tesla business as usual. We're going to see a $500 stock in 2025. All right, let's go to the next stock I have, which is going to be Nvidia. Guys, I think we found a floor here. We found a strong floor on Nvidia, and many ask me, is this a buy? I would say absolutely. It's absolutely a buy. We see Microsoft, they're expected to spend roughly $80 billion building out its AI infrastructure this year. Now, we've had some pushback saying that Microsoft has enough chips, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The fact is, this is early innings for Nvidia, and they're about to make liquid gold, guys, liquid gold. They're about to make some black caviar, okay? Some Angus steak. I'm getting hungry, guys. That's probably why I'm mentioning the food, but they're going to be making liquid gold, all right? If you want this gold, invest in Nvidia and sell some put options as well. Right now in 2025, I'm becoming a lot bigger of a fan of running the wheel strategy and selling puts. I have a whole video that I made on selling puts recently, and that video, I know you guys like it. And there's not that many views, only 60,000 views on that video that I posted recently. It's a full course, 2.5 hours, but it is also liquid gold. I'll link it in the description for selling puts properly, the whole A to Z, how to do it. And I would say on Nvidia, this is the perfect time to do so. In fact, I think selling puts is going to be the best strategy for 2025 because we've had 20% back-to-back years, okay? 2023, 2024, we've had 20% gains. So I would say that, we can't keep pushing like this huge numbers. You just can't right? You can't just push big numbers every single year. We're going to get a pullback at some point, and the best strategy to protect yourself, but to still make money, to still have exposure into the market and to buy the high quality companies that I cover is going to be selling put options. And Nvidia remains a great way, not even a great way, the perfect way to play the AI infrastructure build out, and it trades at a very attractive valuation. Do you want to buy stocks at a 52-week high, or do you want to buy a stock that actually has a good valuation that has good growth at the same time? Like, I don't understand you guys. When stocks go down, everyone panics and everyone gets upset. Listen, if you want to actually make money, buy stocks at a sale. Why do you get excited to go to the store and the store has a sale of 20%, 50%, and you're all happy. But when the stock market has a pullback, you guys are all upset. It makes zero sense. Like, you guys need to get your mindset clear. If you want to scale your portfolio from 100K to 500K like I make in my videos, from 500K to 7 figures, from 7 figures to multiple, you need to have proper mindset. It's useless. Stop watching YouTube videos. Stop investing if you don't have the right mindset. You have to understand what to invest in and why you're investing in it, okay? If I ask you right now why you invest in this company, you can't tell me why, you're making a big mistake. You don't even know what you're doing with investing. So I want to say that why would you invest in companies at the very, very peak when you have positive earnings, you have crazy momentum, you have Nvidia, which is juicy as heck, guys. If you look at the 140 sell put, I would sell the 140 sell put. Let me show you what this actually looks like on Nvidia right now. Nvidia is just, it's the safest play for me as well. And you can see how it already had a very fast upward bounce because this stock was just a little bit too cheap at these levels at under 130. It makes zero sense. It makes no sense for it to be under 130. I actually have a few debit strategies. I have some buy strategies. I'm also planning to cover this on my webinar, my buying strategies on Nvidia. I don't have enough time to cover it in this video, but I would be buying options on Nvidia. That's how bullish I am on it. But if I go to the trade Nvidia options, I would say that you simply want to sell 140 puts for entry because the theme of this video is selling more puts. I would go for March expiration, this March 21st expiration, and I would go for the 140. So if I scroll down here to 140, you'll notice that the bid-ask spread is it's juicier than my apple in Moldova, guys. Moldova has such good fruit here, but it's juicier than a green apple, okay? 1090, 11. This is a very tight bid-ask spread, amazing volume, 3,500 volume. Implied volatility is good. The delta is great. It's a little bit higher than I usually go for, which is around a 30 delta. I got a 38 delta, and that's because I'm very excited. I want to get ownership of Nvidia. I want ownership. So if I get assigned, I'll be celebrating the assignment, guys. Let me move on, okay? Getting a little bit too passionate here because I'm telling you, you're about to make all kinds of money. You're about to get stupid rich. All right, last stock I want to cover is AMD. AMD, very simple, straightforward story. Just like Nvidia, they are having a piece of the AI pie. This is the AI time for us, guys. We have AI time, AI decade, all right? And AMD's at 125. If you sell the 120, AMD, I'm telling you, that's where support is. I'm very, very, very confident in that. I'm buying AMD hand over fist. I got to hit the gym, so I'm not going to show my biceps today. But I'm telling you, I'm buying it hand over fist because I think AMD is going to compete effectively with NVIDIA, and the trend is very clear. So we're already seeing a little bit of a bounce. We see a little bit of upward action at 4% on AMD. AMD CEO is very strong as well. So you guys urgently take these actions. Be aware, subscribe, and I'll leave some links in the description for the Put Selling Masterclass video that's free on YouTube and the webinar, which is going to be a small fee for that, but 2 hours of my time. So I'll see you guys soon and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.